There's a major question swirling around the Russia investigation. Will President Trump meet face-to-face with special counsel Robert Mueller? Well, the president said he's open to it. And joining me now to discuss, defense attorney and former federal prosecutor Seth Waxman and Robert Mueller's former special assistant at the Justice Department, Michael Zeldin. He is a former federal prosecutor and now a legal analyst for us here at CNN. And when I hear Senator Blumenthal talk, Michael, I think because he does bring his legal background to this, it's more than just that he's a senator. I mean, this is what he expects from his professional background.
He was the U.S. attorney in Connecticut.
That's right. So how would you see all of this playing out?
That they're going to work out a deal by which the President of the United States offers oral testimony to the Office of Special Counsel. It'll probably be, like with Clinton, a deposition-like format, sworn in the White House itself, not in the grand jury room, but I can't see it happening any other way.
Is that what you would expect, Seth?
Yeah, I expect Bob Mueller's team to relish this opportunity. For me, the question is timing. When is this going to happen? It is like we were just hearing. The question is when is Bob Mueller's team prepared to go forward? Have they conducted all the witness interviews, collected all of the documents, and especially and most importantly, have they flipped other people within the Trump administration and campaign that allows the Mueller to be properly prepared, because he wants to control that interview. When he has Donald Trump in the room, he wants to know as much, if not more, than Donald Trump knows for two reasons. One, just briefly to call him out if he's wavering from the truth, but also to potentially set up a false statements charge in case Donald Trump lies.
Take us inside that room, Michael. So who would be there if you expect this is at the White House? You expect that it is sworn, so a transcript, I think, would be your expectation. That's pretty interesting. It wouldn't.
And probably videotaped. I mean, just like Clinton.
Okay. And so who would be there?
So in my independent counsel investigation, we took the sworn testimony of President Bush, out of office at the time, and President Clinton in office at the time. In our October surprise investigation, we took it of Jimmy Carter and written interrogatories to Ronald Reagan. So we had 4 presidents that I've been involved in the testimony of. The most relevant to us would be what we did with Bush. In Bush's case, we went to his office, the presidential office he has in Texas. We had a court reporter. We didn't videotape it. He had his counsel. We swore him. It was myself, Joe DeGeneva, who was the independent counsel. I was his deputy at the time. 2 other lawyers, the president and his 1 or 2 counsel from his law firm. And we said, Mr. President, thank you very much for appearing. Now we're going to start asking you questions. And it was, to Seth's point, it was the last witness, essentially, in our investigation, because we wanted to know everything we could possibly know, because we thought we'd probably only get him 1 time. Now, Ken Starr interviewed Mr. and Mrs. Clinton almost 9 times during the course of their investigation, but that's abnormal.
So you said that Mueller's team is relishing this prospect, although you do expect it comes near the end of this investigation for them. If you are the president's legal team, knowing that this could be, there could be pitfalls for the president, even though we know he's done depositions before, how do you prepare him for this?
Well, there's 2 questions there. One, do you allow it to happen at all? You know, if it gets to a point where there are senior operatives who have flipped, that are cooperating with Bob Mueller's team, in addition to Michael Flynn, you may get to a point where you just don't want to put your client, the president in this case, in that situation. Now, I have to acknowledge that
he would then have to take the 5th, right, Seth? I mean, the only way he can avoid a subpoena.
If he's subpoenaed, my understanding right now, this is a voluntary process. But to your point, you're correct. If he were to be subpoenaed, then that is his only option to plead the 5th. But assuming he gets into that environment, then what do you do? How do you prepare the president? I mean, you have to have him be truthful at all times. And that's the key, because what you don't want to have him walk into is a Martha Stewart situation. As we all know, infamously, she was convicted not of the underlying securities fraud, but for sitting in a room with a federal prosecutor and FBI agents and making false statements. And the president could be in that same peril. So you have to make sure that whatever he says, it is 100% the truth, or he's in legal jeopardy on that point alone.
And remember, the one thing that I was going to say is that the president himself has said on June 11th, categorically, 100% I will testify.
Yeah,
and so now he's got this public relations problem if he chooses not to testify.
He's got his way with words of getting around things, though. So we'll see. Michael Zeldin, thank you so much. Seth Waxman, really appreciate your expertise. And still ahead, officials from North